Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. You can get louder than that.
I'm very grateful to every single person standing with us here today, and I'm very grateful for those who can't stand with us today. This is their victory. It's a victory that was fought by our firefighters, our police officers, our laborers, our community members, our advocates, families, people who have been trying to do the right thing by these people for the last 15 years. It's an extraordinary testament to them that they have accomplished this goal. Because as you know, nothing ever works in Washington. It is a broken place. And it truly took these men and women coming every week after week, month after month, to the halls of Congress, demanding action, demanding that members of Congress do the right thing. And their voices have been heard. This is their victory. This is their moment when our democracy actually worked. This healthcare bill, this permanent bill that will be there for each of them when they need it, is the fulfillment of our moral obligation to each of them for their courage, for their bravery, for their selfless dedication at a time when we needed heroes. This is our time to do right by them, to meet their gravest and most urgent needs. Ray Pfeiffer is just one example. Someone who came to Washington week after week, in his wheelchair, sitting outside the office of Mitch McConnell to meet with him and his staff, to tell his story. His story is like many of the people standing here with us today. Selflessness, bravery, undying commitment, doing the right thing at a grave time of need, and now, unfortunately, suffering, extraordinary pain, hardship. As he's in a hospital bed today, we celebrate with him because this victory is his victory. It's for his colleagues, his family, the people who desperately need this relief. I'm so grateful to my colleagues in Congress for their extraordinary leadership and extraordinary work. Our House members who wrote the original bill, Carolyn, Jerry, and Pete, worked for years getting this bill moving forward. Senator Schumer, our champion in the Senate, who because of his strong leadership and his unbelievable power in the Senate, brought people together to make our leadership do what the nation called them to do, to make sure Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell couldn't say no any longer. Senator Schumer did that. So I am so grateful to every single person who told their story. Our first responders deserve this. They've earned this. And we have now fulfilled that moral obligation. Thank you.
It's my honor to introduce Congressman Peter King.
Thank you, Rich. Now I have to explain to Patty Lynch why I'm wearing a shirt, but in any event. Oh, Chuck with his balls. What can I tell you? I can't keep up with Chuck. Listen, this is a great, great day to celebrate the memory of those outstanding cops and firefighters who answered the call on September 11th, all the construction workers who followed up during the recovery, and also to celebrate the fact that those who are suffering today, who are suffering from the sacrifice they made then, are going to get the permanent health care that they need. This is the very least we could do for them. We did it. Thank God it took so long. Unfortunately, what has been done because of great effort. Chuck in the Senate, Kirsten, Jerry, Carolyn Maloney, and when Dan Donovan, the first thing he did when he got elected to Congress was sign on to this Zadroga bill. This was a combined effort, a bipartisan effort, an American effort. And that's what it was on 9/11. Nobody cared if you were Democrat or Republican, male, female, whoever you were an American, you fought for your country. When you went in, you do what had to be done. when we see the terrible illnesses that so many of our friends and neighbors and constituents have had to suffer over these years, and unfortunately will continue to suffer. And those who are not sick today that may be sick next year or the year after, at the very least, they will have the peace of mind, and their families and friends will have the peace of mind of knowing that they will get the care that they deserve and they're entitled to, the very best possible care. There's been a long, long, hard fight. As I said yesterday, I've seen more of Carol Baloney and Jerry Nadler in the last 14 years than more than I ever wanted to see. But very seriously, they're great friends. They've done a great job. Kirsten in the Senate, Chuck in the Senate, all of us standing together. But all of you, John Field and Susie Ballantyne, Ben Shabbat, Dennis Hughes, Mario, so many people, Pat Lynch, Steve Cassidy, over the years, all the guys, all the women stood together. There was some dark days there. We got it done in 2010, and because of all of you, we got it done yesterday. So thank God for you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless America.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce Congressman Dan Donovan.
Richie, thank you so very much. Thank you, Senator Gillibrand, Senator Schumer, my friend Pete King, who has led this fight for the last 14 years, Jerry Nadler. I mean, the work that these folks done is just tremendous. People will never know the efforts that they made on behalf of our heroes. When I decided to run for Congress, people said, what are your goals to go down there to do? This was the major objective. This is what I want to do. I represent the 11th Congressional District in New York. We have more people in the registry for the health fund than any congressional district in the entire United States. Over nearly 7,000 people in Brooklyn and Staten Island are suffering today because of their heroics 14 years ago. They're firefighters, they're police officers, they're people in the trades, the building trades, the construction workers who started on a rescue effort, which became a recovery effort, which eventually became a cleanup effort. None of them went in there thinking about their own health. None of them went in there thinking that they may get sick one day. And none of them ever thought that if it happened, their country would turn their back on them. That day, they answered their nation's call. Yesterday, our nation answered their call. Thank you so very much for my colleagues in Congress. Thank you for the advocacy that the workers have tirelessly did for the last 14 years to get this ball across the goal line, as Richie Alley said. And we committed years and years ago that we'd never forget you. Yesterday, we remembered. Thank you.
All of New York, it benefits by having this man as president of the New York City PBA. It's my honor to introduce Patrick Lynch.
Thanks very much. You know, we oftentimes talk when we come here and we stand in the heat, we stand in the cold, but we stand here to get this job done, and we did. And there's an awful lot of folks that deserve the thanks, our electeds, the representatives in labor, citizens that live and work around here that stopped and bowed their head and prayed and helped and lobbied along with us. And we thank each and every one of them. And I know there's folks whose names aren't getting mentioned that did yeoman's work. We thank them as well. We thank our first responders that, as we all know, responded here without question. Didn't look at what patch was on their shoulder or shield on their chest, and did what we had to do to bring as many home as we could and to give closure to as many families as possible. So we thank our first responders. We also thank them. Remember, each one of these lobby trips, each time we went to Washington, each time we stood here, there was a first responder that had difficulty walking. They walked anyway. Difficulty standing, they stood here, stood on a train, stayed on a bus, and stood in a hallway. They did it anyway. There's many folks that had difficulty breathing, but they took that deep breath, made them heroes once again, and they did what they had to do. But while we chose the professions, we chose to fight the fight, that was a choice that we made. Many times our families didn't make that choice with us, but they sacrificed more than us. So we're here to thank all the folks that got this done. We thank all the folks that prayed and bowed their heads in memory of those that are no longer with us, but started with us. So we have some folks we have to thank as well. We have to thank our families. because every time we got on that train, they packed our bags. Every time we went out that door, they worried till they heard the key in the apartment door and we got back safely. They called to make sure we took our meds. They called our partners to make sure we did what we had to do and that we were all right. So we chose to sacrifice. We thank those that helped us. We thank our first responders. But more than all of them, let's thank our families who sat on that couch and worried.